of a Caesar cult. The early Christian church was demanded, commanded, coerced to say Caesar is not only Lord, but Caesar is Savior. And in the midst of that Caesar cult, Christianity thrived. When someone was baptized in first century Christianity, very often, the very first thing that happened to them is they were dressed in a tar jacket and lit ablaze. Or they were taken to a hippodrome and torn apart by wild animals. Why were they willing to die? It is inconceivable that they would die for what they knew to be a lie. But they were willing to die because they knew that this was true. They had seen the resurrected Christ, and they knew that they could face all of the indignities that one human being could foist on another because they, like Christ, would rise immortal, imperishable, incorruptible, that they would be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. So they counted not their lives worthy unto death. And this was what overcame a Caesar cult. Until, of course, the Edict of Toleration. And then it became fashionable to become a Christian. And suddenly things changed. People came to Christ not because they loved the master, but they started coming to Christ because they loved what was on the master's table. So Christ became a means to an end, as opposed to being the end. Judas was a classic example of that. He was in the inner circle of Jesus Christ. He did miracles. He proclaimed the gospel. He drove out demons, and yet he himself was a devil. Christ's own designation for Judas. He loved what was on the master's table. He did not ultimately love the master. Well, my acronym for this afternoon's talk is doctrine. I've underscored why and come at it from various vantage points to underscore the significance of essential Christian doctrine, not the least of which is what I just ended with. People were willing, not just a few, but multitudes willing to die for the essentials of the historic Christian faith. Now, if this does not translate into Chinese in terms of the acronym doctrine, do remember that all of memory is simply association. It is simply taking two bits of information and joining them together as you see my fingers being joined together. It could be a name and a face. It could be a chapter in the Bible and what's contained in it. It could be a foreign vocabulary word and its English equivalent. All of memory is simply joining two bits of information together, so when you think of the one, the other will come into your mind as well. And the reason I stress memory is because wisdom is the application of knowledge, and it's very hard to apply unless you can remember it. And then, if you can remember it, you can use the deviations of the cults as springboards or opportunities to share truth. So again, the real issue is to become so familiar with truth that when a counterfeit looms on the horizon, you know it instantaneously. Let me start with the D in doctrine, which represents the deity of Jesus Christ. And this is not just a essential. This is the essential. When Jesus came to Caesarea Philippi, he asked the mother of all questions, "Who do you say that I am?" You know, a Jehovah's Witness answers that question different than you do. A Jehovah's Witness will say, Jesus Christ was a mere human being during his earthly sojourn. And before his earthly sojourn, he was the Archangel Michael. And after his death, he was an immaterial spirit creature once again. You ask a Mormon who Jesus Christ is, and they'll say he is the spirit brother of Lucifer. He is Lucifer's elder brother. You ask a Christian who Jesus Christ is, and we will say he is the one who spoke, and the limitless galaxies leapt into existence. He indeed is the very one who knit me together in my mother's womb. In other words, he is the creator of all things. So the distance between Jesus Christ and Satan is ultimately the distance of infinity. Now, when I say that Jesus Christ is God, I say that this is not only a claim that the Bible makes for Jesus Christ, and if you want to look at an easy way of remembering that the Bible makes this claim, just think of the ones. John 1, Colossians 1, Revelations 1, Hebrews chapter 1, 2 Peter chapter 1, all passages underscoring the unique deity of Jesus Christ. The fact that he is, as Paul says in Colossians 1, before all things, and in him all things hold together. Visible, invisible. Whether thrones or rulers or powers or authorities, all things were created by him and for him. He is before all things. That is repeated 4 times in just a